Welcome, I'm here with Willem Vosmer with Steward Redqueen. We met last year at the Gin.
That's right.
And
Yep.
We're here again at the Global Impact Investing Network's Investor Forum in Copenhagen. Give me just a quick intro to what you guys do.
Yeah, we are a consulting firm, a boutique consulting firm focused on impact and sustainability. In short, we advise our clients on the impact of impact investing, how you build a strategy around it, how you keep true to the purpose that you've developed for it, how do you measure your results on it, how you build a story around it, how you can agree on goals and targets and achievements with your investors, or the data you want to report on with your investees. And in short, we often want to be the grease in the wheels of the whole financial ecosystem when it comes to impact investing.
Give me an example or two of what that looks like.
Right. So you could think of an investor, let's say a development finance institution, who's looking to invest their capital in emerging markets, and they want to do that with impact. Now, well, what is impact? You can make a positive contribution to these economies, to climate, to particular sectors in these economies, to particular groups in these economies. So we help them put together a strategy around a purpose that drives them, that is close to their political agenda or their economic agenda. And that's where you can end up developing a general end strategy for them. That's one example of the investors looking to allocate their funding to asset managers, but in a way that's clear and very focused on the purpose they have for their capital. Now, one step down, there is the asset manager or the GP that needs to raise funds from such investors. Again, let's say from a DFI. Those asset managers, they also need to find their purpose, their mandate, and they have to link that to the mandates or to the impact strategies of these investors. And to do that, you need to adjust your language, you need to adjust your terminology, you need to talk the same language when it comes to impact. Because sometimes you can have an investor allocating their funds to your, allocating their capital to your fund because they like the climate effect of it, and others may jump on board because they like the economic effect on it, how you create jobs. Well, creating a job is a very different impact than saving nature or saving the planet. So this is where we work with different players in the value chain again of that impact financial sector.
Why don't organizations just do this themselves?
If we again look at the asset managers, you very often see that they're so deep into their solution and the structure and the purpose that they have that they often need an outside perspective to make it simple again. Because impact investing is not that hard, or better said, the strategy shouldn't be that hard. You should be able to explain it in one sentence. But you only succeed to do that if you're very clear about your purpose, about your ambitions, about your goals, and your, let's say, the pathways through which you want to achieve those goals. And we see that a lot of our clients just have trouble rising to that meta level, where you can not only explain it in 3 hours, but also in 30 seconds. And that's what we help. What is your story in 30 seconds? What is your narrative in 3 minutes? And what is your methodology explanation in 3 hours? But these are different audiences that serve or that have different needs for what they want to hear.
It's not just after the fact, how do we make a fancy PDF?
Yes, that's right. So let's say between the brochure that you hand out while fundraising and the report that you produce 5 years after investing, there's a whole lot of work in between. And that should be all connected. So your impact brochure that you put on the table while fundraising should not overpromise. on what you're going to deliver in the future. It should be not just a fancy one-pager. No, it should actually be a very thorough elaboration of what you're going to do, promise, and deliver when investing and when managing your portfolio. And then once you have a few investments in place, and when you have a portfolio, what are then the indicators that you need to collect data on? And what are the insights that you then want to produce to your investors to show that you're making a difference, that you actually deliver on the purpose or the impact that you promised to make? So that's where we develop the methodologies and also the tools to produce that and to deliver on those promises and to ultimately provide the data and insights that are needed for good impact reporting.
So how do organizations know that they need your help?
A few years ago, the trigger would be the second or third investor meeting when the fund was 2 years old and the investors are getting anxious and nervous about, hey, but weren't you promising me impact data, impact insights, impact results? That's what I read in your brochure. That is a trigger to call us, because then the impact investor, so the fund manager, often realizes, oh, shoot, I promised something that I have to deliver on. So I need, and it's actually hard, I need indicators, I need methods, I need tools, I need templates, I need to explain this to my investment managers. I need to explain this to my investees that they have to provide me with data. And then they're actually too late. So now, and we see that more and more, the trigger is when your LPs or when your potential LPs are starting to ask questions. Sure, I'd love to invest in your fund, but that means that I want an annual insight in the following results, or I would like to agree on incentives, and sometimes they even want to agree on a carried interest based on impact. Well, how can you put that together? The technical details of it, of linking financial performance and financial incentives to impact performance. So ideally, we're involved as soon as possible in the process, and we're getting involved sooner and sooner every day. So I think that's a good sign of the market also maturing, right? Everyone seeks legal assistance right away. So why wouldn't you seek impact assistance right away as well?
Like, who are some of the players that you work with?
We work with a lot of DFIs in Europe, but also the multilaterals, AFDB, IFC, and we've helped them on their end put together the strategies and requirements for the fund managers. For the fund managers, there's also plenty we've worked with. So it's in the more commercial market, where we work with Finance in Motion, but also Symbiotics, also Blue Earth Capital. Also in the venture capital space, in Singapore, we have an office in Singapore where we work with a lot of venture capital firms, where we also work in the access to basic needs space. So TVM Capital, TVM Healthcare Capital is one of our clients that we work with in Asia. They're currently raising funds for their access to health fund. And then there's a few funds that we work with on their impact data management and reporting, and that's where you could, for example, Africa Invest is also here. We've helped them put together their impact report last year.
What is the biggest hurdle that you're facing right now?
I want to have the market know that we've been into this business for 20 years already. We didn't just step in or jumped on the bandwagon because there's a lot of clout. No, we've been doing this for 20 years already, and we bring a lot of experience. But that's not the easiest story to tell if in a market that's so busy right now. There's lots of waves, and we just have to stay true to our cause and to the work we do.
Why would they choose Steward Redqueen over other providers?
We want to be the grease in the wheels of this whole financial system, and that makes us a very good partner for the investors. Developing realistic and also meaningful requirements for their asset managers. But for the asset managers, we know what their investors ask from them. So we know what the questions are that they can face when raising capital from the asset owners. And we also know, because we've worked with their investees in portfolio, we also know what realistic requirements or realistic data points are to ask from your investees. So in that whole value chain, I think the knowledge that we bring of all players, that makes us a knowledgeable partner in advising every partner on how to work with the different angles of the market.
As there's more entrance in the space, proliferation of greenwashing, how do you help prevent that?
That's a very good question. I think that is the crucial question for everyone here now. We now know what the rules are to do good impact investing. But we also see that there are early adopters, that there's industry leaders who are now in the bucket with some others who just came on the bandwagon, who put some lipstick on the pig, and now say, hey, listen, I got my impact fund too. I think there cannot be a mainstream investor with an impact fund labeled the same as this single-focused, fully impact-dedicated fund manager who's been doing this for 20 years already. That's where I think we are going to see in the market a differentiation between good and great. And great, to me, is defined as an impact investor who is transparent about not only what they achieve, but also what they don't achieve, what they know, but also what they don't know. There's one impact investor who did a great job a few years ago with their impact report that started. The numbers presented in this report are probably wrong. But they're a great starting point for us to inform ourselves, our investors, and to take decisions to do better every day. And that, to me, is in marketing, that is true good marketing for impact investors. And I think that's what differentiates it from mainstream marketing. So that's one thing. It's that transparency. Second is the authenticity. What do you do as an investor that is truly close to your intrinsic motivation? What do you do not because regulation asks you to, not because standards prescribe you to, not because the peer benchmark tells you to, but what do you do because you are intrinsically motivated to do so? And then your story or your strategy is also much easier to tell because it's your story instead of the story that meets consumer demands or investor demands. So that's where the pig should look different and not just because of the lipstick.
If someone wanted to find your organization online, what's the best way for them to track you down or to learn more?
It's www.stewardredqueen.com. Maybe best way to remember our name, Steward Redqueen, is because it's a combination of stewardship. We all have to take care of our planet. And the Red Queen principle, that comes out of the story of Alice in Wonderland, where Alice walks in the world of the Red Queen. And the Red Queen says, in my world, you have to walk twice as fast to get ahead. And that's that combination that we see. There's sustainability is an obligation now, but in a world that's getting all the more competitive by the day.
Thank you so much, Willem, for sharing your story and the good that you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah,
Jacob,
thank you.
it was a great pleasure.
Awesome.